Hey, this is Mark from Mark Vlogs Watches, and today we are going to talk about this hat, and we're going to talk about a watch that has been on the wrist now for, maybe a week or so. But before we do that, let's have the quick fist watch check. And it is the Zenith El Primero. And so I've had it now for about a week, and I'd like to talk about that. I'd like to talk about this hat. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. So yes, it is the El Primero 42 millimeter Chronomaster, and on a steel bracelet. And I've been wearing it for about a week. So, but let's clean up a couple of quick details before we get into the horological end of this video. First, I would like to point out my crocheted Indian pattern blanket, which is a sort of a nod to the Rancher, and the Rancher's F-off collection, or is it an FU collection? But at any rate, so the blanket is making a surprise appearance today, as is the Aqueductus hat. So real quick, let me explain a little bit about the hat. There's a guy in Bangkok, Thailand, an American in Bangkok, which is the name of his channel, Scott Mallon. I really like his channel. So whether you're interested in Thailand or not, you might just like flip over and take a look at it. He's a friend of Sucker Horns, and I've been subscribing to this guy for a long time. And as he so often starts out his videos, it starts like this: I got a letter, and it says, "Hi Mark. Here's the hat that I promised to send you a while ago all the way from Sweden. I hope it finds you in good shape and that it fits." Now the boring stuff, just to explain what Aqueductus is and what we do. It's not Aquafistus, it's Aqueductus, okay? Aqueductus is a Swedish company specializing in Internet of Things, whatever that is, Internet of Things. Sounds sort of like a fairy tale, right? But Internet of Things. For the water and sewage industry, we design and manufacture instruments for monitoring levels, pressure, and flow volume in streams, water pipes, and combined sewage overflows. Sounds gross, but oh so important. In case of floods or heavy rainfall, which typically cause the sewage water levels to rise and cause problems, our equipment sends an alarm that can prevent situations where the wastewater can reach sensitive recipients like lakes, beaches, and drinking water reservoirs, and even your basement. Love your sea dwellers, especially the red line, and I hope I can get my hands on one day. All the best, Jan from Sweden. So Jan, the hat fits. Thank you so much. Every time I go to IHOP and order the lingonberry butter with the crepes, I'm going to wear the Aquafistus, the Aqueductus hat. I appreciate it, and you too can send me swag. So I would like your swag. And here's what you do: your t-shirts size large, your hats, I don't know, whatever you have. If you have a spare Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, you send it to the address at the bottom of the screen, and I will give you a shout out, read your message, and I will occasionally wear your swag. I appreciate it. It helps me interact with my audience and to know that you're out there, you're listening, you're watching, and I really appreciate all of that. Okay, so first, I think the main question that most of my hobros have had, do you know what a hobro is? Horological brother. It's not what you were thinking. Anyway, my hobros, who know me best, they want to know, like, am I getting bored with this watch? Because they know that I have commitment issues. And they also know that this watch is a little dressier and a little more horologically inclined than, my brawny Rolex tool watches. But I have to say, right now I'm charmed, I'm thrilled. I'm enjoying my ride with this El Primero. And I think that there are several reasons why I'm liking it so well. And, they might be a little superficial, but, hey, that's me. Okay, first, I really like the size of it. Now, it's a 42 millimeter watch, which you might think sounds all sizable and large all on its own. But actually, I think 42 millimeters is sort of like the minimum size where I start to get interested in watches. 40 millimeters just doesn't do it for me. 42 through 44 is what typically I like best, which is why I like my James Cameron at 44 and my Sea Dweller at 43. This guy is 42, but what I can tell you is it's a large 42. Now I have a big beautiful wrist. It's only 7 1/4, but look at this. Look at the gorgeousness. I am not the most handsome man on earth, okay? I probably don't have to tell you. You guys are looking at my mug right now, but look at that wrist bone. I mean, you know, I could be a wrist model. That's just a nice flat bone there, measuring a grand total of 7¼ inches. So I can wear a fairly beefy watch and get away with it. And I'm often disappointed, you know, that watches aren't quite big enough, but this one works really well for me. It's 42 millimeters, but it wears big. And the reason is, look at the thin bezel that is running around this watch. It's all dial. It's all dial, and that gives you the optical illusion of wearing larger than it's 42. So there is that, first of all. Secondly, look at that dial. Well, we'll look at it closer in a minute, but it's beautiful. It has 3 different colored subdials and then a slightly different colored background, all of which are kind of subtle and compatible, but there is some life and a lovely aesthetic to this. And I was super lucky to acquire it on a bracelet. So we'll look at the deployant clasp in a minute. There's something that I really like about the deployant clasp. It's a butterfly, and there's something I like about it more than the typical butterfly deployant that I have on one of my other watches. I was really lucky to acquire this watch on a factory Zenith bracelet, and that is because this watch, 99% of the time, it's going to come on a brown crocodile leather strap, which I have. It was supplied to me, and it's factory. It's a Zenith or Zenith. Is it Zenith or Zenith? I'm still struggling with that. So put it in the comments, Zenith or Zenith, and do you like it? And do you think I'll get bored with it? Put all of that in the comments. Anyway, it was supplied with that crocodile strap, which still has stickers on it, and it has a deployant clasp. And I have that. It was also supplied with a custom strap. I want to say a Hirsch black leather, but with Zenith factory tang buckle hardware, which is nice. So I've got 2 leather straps that I will never use. Chris, who sold me this watch and has become a friend, Chris he really likes bracelets. So he ordered it on the bracelet, which is a $1,000 option. To get the factory bracelet, it's not supplied with this watch, it's an option. And it is a $1,000 factory option. It's crazy expensive. I mean, it's a nice bracelet, but honestly, $1,000, that's a little bit wild. But it makes a great deal of difference to me because I work outside a lot. I'm sweating, I'm washing my hands. I don't go to too many dress events. I really laugh when Tim Masso talks about things fitting under a shirt cuff or working with cufflinks, because I don't have cufflinks, and I'm not even sure, I have something I can wear to a wedding or a funeral, but like that's it in terms of formal wear. You are seeing me, you are seeing me in my finest. And when I'm going out to dinner, it's a big deal to me if I put on, a polo shirt that's clean, because most of the time I'm walking around like this. Okay, so my first set of impressions on this watch is that it wears bigger than one normally would find a 42 millimeter watch. I love that. I really like this bracelet is comfortable and fits me very, very well. I like the deployant, which we'll look at again in a moment. And 2 other points. One, this sucker is running super accurate, all right? Now, it's a COSC certified watch, but it's running more accurately than I would have suspected anyway, and that's really important to me because you can't hack it, all right? This is a 1969. What you're looking at here is a piece of history, guys. This is arguably the first automatic, with a rotor, automatic chronograph movement ever. All right, there's a little historical dispute as to whether Seiko beat them or not, but like this is kind of credited with being the first. And so we're looking at, with a few minor tweaks, we are looking at 1969 technology here. It's not hackable, but it's so accurate that it is, that's not driving me crazy like I thought it would. So that's one point I really like. And the next one is that display case back. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is I'm not getting tired of this watch at all, and I think I'll be able to keep and wear this thing for a long time. Let's turn the camera around, get a couple of quick views, and then we'll peace out of this video. Well, here we're having a nice close look at the dial. It's really quite beautiful. Let's go ahead and run the chrono. And we'll let that run while we're chit-chatting here. So what I like is the beauty of it. I like the size of it. You saw the wrist shot. You see how that looks and feels. I have to say this crystal is gorgeous. It's what they call a box sapphire crystal because you can see how it's tall like that. So it really adds something to the aesthetic of the watch. However, because there's so much sapphire on your wrist, I find it gets smudgy. You tend to accidentally touch it or, get it goopy. So this is one of those watches that I'm fairly regularly breathing on like a pair of glasses and wiping off with my shirt. And the same would be true of the display back, which we're going to look at right after the deployant clasp. Now, this is quite easy to operate, but what I like about it is that it doesn't matter which side I close first. It's going to close. And I have a ball watch with a deployant clasp, but you have to close one side before the other. And if you forget, you got to start over. So I really like the fact that this is unidirectional. But guys, have a look. All right, having a little trouble with the cam here, but look at the movement. Sometimes it's nice to just take the watch off and stare at it. Thing of beauty, peeps. Okay, so I want to thank you for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed and hit the bell yet, please do that. Leave me a comment, like this video, send me your hat or your t-shirt, or a spare Audemars Piguet. And thanks for being with me, guys. Let's do this again soon. Goldberg, peacing out.